How's it going, guys? Welcome to another episode of the UpTheCaps podcast. This is number 4, and let's jump into it.
And just before we start, we would like to wish everyone a happy Canada Day. I mean, we're truly blessed and grateful to be living in one of the best countries in the world. And yeah, I hope everyone's enjoying the long weekend with friends and family. And yeah, let's talk Whitecaps now. So Seattle, that was our last game. 1-0. Thoughts about the game?
I was very disappointed. I did not like the game at all. I thought Whitecaps played very bad. It was, frankly, it wasn't, and I don't know, arguably, I don't think it was an exciting game for us. I mean, we played bad. There's too many mistakes. It looked like Jordi Reyna was the only player that was actually, trying to create. And honestly, I think out of our whole team, he was the most dangerous. Yes, he held the ball a lot of the times where he shouldn't have, but you could tell they were under pressure. It was coming to the 70th minute. It's we have to create something now, and he was the only one that was trying to push. That was trying. He could have played with his teammates a little bit more, but that I could see. You could tell he wanted. He was trying. He put his heart there, and other than that, I didn't really. Imbaum, I expect more from him. Honestly, from where he played and being here, he should definitely needs to dominate more. And yeah, maybe there's a little bit of an English barrier because he doesn't know any English. We talked to him. He didn't know.
It's difficult to communicate with
other
players.
So how do you conduct a team when not knowing the language, right? There's only so you can't show your hands, but you have to speak. So unfortunately, we can't have him as a leader yet until maybe he learns a little bit more English, because then he can actually conduct. But we're missing big players because of the tournament, so we had to work with what we got. And
I don't
know. I didn't like it.
No, first half was completely dead. There was not even highlights of the first half because there's nothing happened. Second half, what changed the game is the disallowed goal for Seattle. I felt like the entire stadium, the atmosphere changed, and everybody started to okay, let's just get a win here. And our goalie was getting booed every time he had the ball.
Yeah.
And you mentioned something about Mbaum in the midfield. Yes, we're missing Russell Tybert, but I'd expect Felipe to lead more, the type of player he is, because I think he's more comfortable playing in that holding midfield instead of Ariza. But it's, at the end of the day, it's Dos Santos' choice, to play him there. And one more thing is we watched the post-match interview with Dos Santos, and he said it's ridiculous to play league games when we have the Gold Cup, because it makes no sense, because when the European Championship happens, that all the leagues they have a break. In Asia, same thing. In Africa, I'm not sure. I think they do the same thing too. Why are we having breaks to play friendly games just a couple of weeks ago, but when the Gold Cup starts, we're still having league games while we're missing top players? And you can see how I'm not going to say bad, but players like Henry, Crepeau, and Russell Tybert, they make the difference. These are players that they started for the most part since the beginning of the season. So these are 3 guys, main guys that play week in, week out.
Especially leaders, right?
Yeah.
Leaders on the team. And yeah, no, you're right, 100%. I think that's kind of ridiculous. It is kind of really doesn't make any sense. I don't know who runs it. I don't know, the FA of Canadian soccer. I don't know what, who that would be. But if you're going to organize a tournament like the Gold Cup, for example, and obviously being a Canadian team in an MLS, which is a US league, all these teams are going to have players that are going to this, it's maybe not just us, but you can't make a schedule like that. Like you said, they took a break to do friendlies.
To play friendly games,
but they won't take a break to do the Gold Cup?
That's ridiculous, yeah. And what
doesn't make any... That actually doesn't... It really doesn't make any sense. It's actually the dumbest thing I think I've ever heard.
Yeah,
honestly.
It's not only for the Whitecaps, it's for other teams too, because
that's what I'm saying.
Let's say you're... I know some of the big teams in the MLS, they have a lot of international players who are let's say from other countries who are not being called to the international team in North America and all that. But if you're an American team and you have 5 guys who start every game for
Yeah.
you. Let's say you're any of the MLS team,
Yeah,
any
of
American
course,
team,
yeah.
and then these 5 guys, they get called for the national team, and then you all of a sudden you lose your best 5 guys, and then how are you gonna play? It's hard to replace
And
3, 4, 5 players, and we're missing 4.
No, I agree.
4 that could
I
have
agree.
started against Seattle, and perhaps change the game.
But I 100% agree with that. But also to lead off of that point is not only is you're missing players, but those 3 points, like if we won today, that 3 points could have decided whether we make playoffs or not
Mhm.
in the league, right? It could have been the deciding factor of, where we place, who we gonna play. Right now, we're not in a playoff spot. We're 4 points away,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
but
we
if
are.
we would have won, we would have been 1 point away.
That could have got us closer
Right?
for sure. Yeah.
So I'm not gonna stay here and tell you, yeah, we would have won if we had those players. I don't
No.
know. I can't say the future, but I'm saying, yeah, we would have had a better chance for sure because those were key players.
Mhm.
And Dos Santos had to switch the lineup again for this game for whatever reason. Maybe he had that in consideration, but you can't think like it's career mode. You don't switch everything every single game.
No, yeah.
Personally, I don't like Dos Santos. I have nothing against him as a guy, but I don't think he's a good coach for the team. I don't think right, you could disagree, but that's my opinion. He's playing around too much. He's changing things too much. It looks like, I don't know, even in the post-match interview, it's like he's not there, right?
Mm-hmm. A lot of
So-
people may disagree with you because they say we haven't been doing bad in the league, especially in the last 5-6 games. I mean, we haven't lost. Like, take the Seattle game away.
Mhm.
We haven't lost since the Atlanta game.
Okay, but we had
You know,
what? What was it?
we
Out of
had
6?
we drew 5
Okay.
of 6 and we won. So let's say we technically can say we're undefeated in 6. We haven't lost. But again, and don't forget that we came back from a losing situation twice against Dallas and Colorado to tie the game. So with all these, it's just difficult because you could see we struggled against Colorado and Dallas. These are not their average mediocre
yes,
teams,
yeah.
So the moment you come up against a playoff contenders like Seattle, they're placed 3rd in the Western Conference now. So missing players in games like this, just because they're playing on for the Canadian national team, it can really, like, you can see the difference, right? Against Colorado and Dallas, like I said, I'm not saying they're bad teams, but they're not as good as Seattle, for example, right? So you could get away with it to miss, 3-4 key players.
Of course.
But when you play against Seattle, it's a different story, And next week, next week, right? We play against LAFC.
Yeah, that's July 6th.
Yeah, I don't want to say
Well,
thank God
5 days.
Canada's out of the Gold Cup because we get our players back,
Yeah.
but that's another tough game,
No, I mean, okay. Talking about the Canada game, that's a completely another
Yeah,
thing
it's,
because honestly, that's disappointing as it is. We lost to Haiti?
Yeah,
Was it Haiti? Okay.
3-2.
Okay, we'll save that for now. But they're out, so we're gonna get our players back for that game. And honestly, if we play the same way we played now against a better side, there's no chance. But no way we'll win like that. But okay, let's get back to point here. We lost to Seattle 1-0. Yes, they scored in the last minute of whatever relegation, like the last 8 minutes, because there was 8 minutes of extra time.
Dying minutes of the game.
I personally think that goal came from one player, and that was Brad Smith.
Yeah, he had a great game. Yeah,
Man of the match, right?
he was.
Brad Smith. He's an MLS player, but you cannot forget that he was playing in Europe and he had a short spell, but he was good enough to get signed for Liverpool.
Yeah, he signed for Liverpool actually, and he went on loan to Bournemouth, so he still played in the Premier League for a couple of seasons. And I'm not sure I think he's on loan at Seattle too. He's still a Bournemouth player.
Loan? Okay.
Yeah, he is on loan still, because I don't think they finalized the deal. He's still on loan.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe here's the thing. He's not a big superstar, so his name is not out there like Zlatan or Carlos Vela. But the mentality of a professional player that played in Europe is still there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna take a player that played in Liverpool, and that's not easy thing to do. I don't care who you are. That's like, you don't just happen to play like it's So you brought him into the game, and if you watch the play that they scored,
He was key part of it, yeah.
It was him. It was all him. What did he do? 2 defenders on him. He held the ball. He waited. And you could argue that any other player, they would have crossed it into the box out of rush. 1 minute left. We need to score, right? We need to score.
Or take a shot or
he
anything.
stopped.
Right?
There was a guy waiting for him. Look, there was a guy right beside him asking for the ball. He's like, no, you know what? He waited. The striker, all credit to the striker. I forgot who came for the give and go. He cuts in, give and go. He beats 2 guys. Our defender was asleep.
With 1 pass.
Yeah, our defender... If you're going to trail him 1 second late, a player like that only needs 1 second to touch the ball.
Exactly.
1 millisecond on the ball and the ball's gone. Okay, he beats the guy, passes it back to the middle, touch, score. Right? That was all because of him. All because of 1 pass. 90 minutes. Both teams had 98 minutes to score a goal. Extra time. 98 minutes. Whatever. 90, whatever. Injury time, whatever. And it only took 10 seconds to develop a play and score. It's kind of crazy to think, like,
it is, yeah,
right? And it took one player's idea, one player trying to actually change something, to make a chance. They scored and we're out of the game. At that point, it was over.
Yeah, and that's why they say every pass counts, every touch. You can change the game with. You can change the way you play just by your first touch. If you go forward, positive with the ball and all that. And I think overall he had a really good game. Not just the goal,
the whole game.
Not just that. He had a good game.
And you look at that left back and compare it to ours.
Yeah, Ali Adnan didn't have the best game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, he had one good shot. Okay, fair.
Should have crossed.
He could have crossed. He could have shot. Could have went in. Yeah. There's many things that could have happened. Yeah. But
the moment that led to the goal.
The which one?
The disallowed goal. It was a mistake from him giving the ball away.
And that's my point. My point. So what did he do? He had the ball. Yeah, he was under pressure a little bit. Mm-hmm. But when you're under pressure and you're on the line, what's more safe? To go towards your own box to the suicide zone, or are you gonna kick it out, or at least boot it forward? He didn't do either. So instead of passing back to the guy, which he was open, our own center back, I forgot who it was.
I think Rose was open.
Rose? Okay. Yeah. He's open. The center back was open, calling for the ball. There's one guy on him.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't pass to him. Okay.
You mean he could have played it back?
He could have played back, and they could have switched back to the right back, right? Reset, exactly. He didn't do that. So what did he do? He takes the touch inside. Mm-hmm. The guy's already on his back, and what does the striker do? The striker comes, cleans it up. 100% his mistake. Yeah. There was no other problem. They want the ball. They had a potential chance of scoring. Yeah, luckily we got he stepped on his foot, the goalie's foot. And then, they said disallowed goal because there was a foul, right? He did step on his foot.
Yeah.
But honestly, you could say that at that point the game changed. Yeah, if you're a team like Seattle and you're home and you just celebrated and all your fans are going crazy because you just went up 1-0 and then you find out a goal is disallowed, what is that going to make you more? You're going to be more hungry. Yeah. You're going to be more attack mindset. You're like, you know what? We didn't get this. This is, bull, whatever. We're going to go again. Mm-hmm. And Whitecaps, what? Oh my God, we just survived this. Now, they're nervous.
Yeah, well, it was... Truth is, it was a foul.
Yes.
I mean, you can't do that. But let's say the VAR wasn't there. Mm-hmm. And the ref had to make a decision on the spot. That would have been a goal. Because he counted the goal first. He called the goal.
Yeah.
So it's really basic things that you have to play the way you're facing for Ali Adnan. I mean, I'm sure he knows better. So like I said, you have to play the way you're facing. If Rose or any other defender is open, play the ball. You don't need to dribble towards your own net and inside the field.
That's right.
So it's really he's a controversial player. He has good games, bad games, but he definitely brings something in that left hand side. But I'm not sure if the Seattle game was one of the best that he's played. So it's just one to forget. I think.
At what point are we going to realize, okay, yes, he has, experience in Syria, whatever. Mm-hmm. But at what point are we going to realize he's not that great and he hasn't lived up, I don't think he has lived up to the expectations that he could have had as a left back. Okay, he scored a nice goal at one point. Okay, maybe he does a nice cross. But it looks like the bad is outweighing the good at this point. It looks like he's making more mistakes than actually doing good. Okay, what did he do on his first game? Chip. And he missed.
Penalty, yeah.
I
think he tries to do too much rather than just be reliable and play safe.
Why?
And,
Why? His attack mindset, which is great. We need it because he
good.
always pushes up. He's a horse. He runs.
Yeah.
No one's saying he's not running. I'm not gonna say or tell you, oh, he's not. He doesn't contribute anything to the attack. He does. But I'm saying these mistakes are what's gonna cost us the game. Because if that would have went in, the game would have been over before that goal even happened.
Before the second goal too, yeah.
Okay, but we still give him chance after chance after chance, and
lucky for him, it was disallowed. So yeah.
He has a bigger name than Jake Nowitzki in the right back, but it looks like Jake Nowitzki maybe doesn't contribute attacking more, but he sits, does his job, and it looks like a lot of the chances the other teams get are coming from Ali's side or his mistake. I don't think he's the player he is, but that's my thoughts.
Yeah.
I think maybe we should move on from the Seattle game. That's disappointing game. We lost, but at the end of the day, we move forward and we go against LAFC next week.
And so we're 4 points away from a playoff spot at the moment.
Yep.
Do you think it's too early to talk about clinching a playoff spot? Because it's 15 more games, and that's not counting the 2 games against Calgary and the Canadian Championship.
Which we'll talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But do you think it's too early? What do we need to do better to just make it to playoffs? I mean, obviously we'll get our key players back, hopefully all healthy, to play against LA, and that's a tough game too away. I don't know. We actually have time. I think we still have time to make a playoff spot because we're 4 points away, as we can see on the table right now. And I'm not sure after the. I think we've played the top sides. Like we played most of them, right?
Yeah. Did we? Okay, so it looks like we're under Real Salt Lake 23 points, Portland Timbers 20 points, Whitecaps 20 points, and the playoff spot is 24 points. So we have San Jose at 25, Minnesota at 24, Houston at 24.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take much to get a playoff spot. All we have to do is break.
Yeah.
But Houston has a game in hand.
Yeah, and we have played more than considerably more than other teams.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So
because look at Portland,
Houston,
they played 16, we played 19.
So for you guys listening, Houston has 24 points at the moment. They played 16 games, and that is the last. They're the last spot to make playoffs.
Yeah.
Now we've played 19 games, so 3 more than the last place team, than the last playoff spot team, which is Houston, and we have 20 points.
Yeah,
so
we'll actually get 20 points.
Houston actually potentially has 9 points that they could get if they win all their games.
Yeah,
and then they're going to be,
points,
and that's 9 points that we already lost. So they could be 9 more points ahead. So do I think we're going to play a spot at this rate? Honestly, no, because Portland is ninth. We're 10th, and they have 20 points as well, but they have 16 games also. So they actually have potential 9 points ahead of us too. And Real Salt Lake, which is 8th, has 2 more games. They have 17. So that's a good point you brought up. And honestly, looking at these stats right now, we played the most out of every team aside from Dallas. Actually, us and Dallas have played the most games so far. I don't know. I really don't know, honestly.
Are 4th in the league.
I really don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like we're on track at all.
We at least need to win our home games. The coming home games. We need to get
Of course. We should win every game.
We need to, yeah.
But you're talking about playoff spot. Do I think we're gonna make it? No. I'm gonna tell you right now. I want them to make it. I don't think we're gonna make it this year. I'm calling it right now, and I'm gonna say it on the podcast. I don't think we're gonna make it. Here's why. We still have LAFC, and considering looking at the schedule, we still have some of the top teams we have to play. Portland, DC, right? We have Montreal,
decent side,
yeah. New York,
then LA Galaxy.
Right, LA Galaxy is still there.
That's gonna be away too.
Okay,
so
there you go. I don't think so. Do you think we're gonna make it? I should ask you.
And
I'll tell you why after. But go ahead, please. Tell me.
I think there's definitely a chance to make it, and like I said, I mean, it might be too early for us to speak about making the playoffs. To get a playoff spot, because there's 15 more games. I mean, if we win all these home games and we get like a couple of draws and maybe a couple of wins on the road, we might end up making the playoffs, because it doesn't take much for teams in the MLS as we know, to find their form. You know, once you, I mean, we haven't lost, like I said, take the Seattle game aside, we haven't lost in 6 games. So that's not bad, especially some of these games we were losing, we came back again, and they were away. So I think we need to like make BC Place a fortress so we can get the 3 points here and then put pressure on other teams when they play at home, because they are expected to win. So us on the road, it's a tricky games, you know, sometimes they're difficult, but it's more pressure on the home side. You know, you could see Seattle yesterday, they did everything they could to get a win.
They did.
You know, even though things went against them, they had a disallowed goal. And it's just playing at home, you're pretty much expected to win, you know? So I think we need to do that. We need to win our home games, and that will give us a chance. Because if we lose at home, it'll make things more difficult, of course.
Definitely.
Right?
No, fair. But the league is close, right? It's really close, actually.
It's
looking
a close
at it.
race at the moment.
But we're 19 games. Every team has 16, 17, 18. And here's the thing.
So they have a better shot.
Okay, you're saying we aren't defeated out of 6 games. Okay? But out of 6 games, we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus the win. We have 8 points out of 6 games.
Out of possible 18. So we have
out of possible 18.
Yeah,
so we missed
out on
what?
10.
10 points?
Yeah. That's not...
Are you kidding me? You know the difference if we had even... Here's the thing. You're saying 10 points. If we even had 5 points of those 10, right now we'd be in a playoff spot.
Or if we had all 10,
we and imagine if we
could be in second place.
And I'm being more realistic. Like, we would get 5 because I don't think we're going to win all of them. But we get 5, we're going to be in a playoff spot. But we're not. And that's the thing. Like, I don't remember. But did we beat Houston when we played them?
I think we lost to them 3-2.
Okay.
I think.
So, the Western Conference is honestly, it's arguably probably the stronger conference.
Yeah, it's more competition.
Yeah, we don't have
here,
Toronto.
Yeah.
But LAFC,
yeah,
Los Angeles Galaxy, Seattle.
Yeah.
Like, these are the top 3 teams that always are making the finals. Especially LA is LA. They're always going to get better. Like, they're not going to get bad anytime soon. Okay, then you have the Eastern Conference, right? Like, okay, you know, Atlanta for sure, Toronto, New York, Orlando.
Philly for some reason are doing.
But Philly 32 points.
They're top team.
Jeez, they don't lose at home. Look, 6 games, 1 at home.
I know. They're overall the best team in the league. I think.
No superstars if you're talking about players, but clearly they have a good thing going and.
Yeah, I remember when they came to BC, we tightened, and that was a good game too.
It was a good game.
And they looked like a good side. Yeah.
No, I mean, I guess the consensus is, I personally think no. You say there's possibility, and I'm not saying possible. I'm not saying like no as in like guaranteed, like we're not. Obviously, I hope that we would make it, but personally, I don't think that will happen.
So next topic is Ali Adnan. We know he became a not free agent, but
his loan expired.
His
right?
loan expired.
June 30th. So what was that? Yesterday.
Yesterday. So
okay, let me ask you.
Sure.
I want to ask you.
Yeah.
I really want to know your thoughts. You're Iraqi, so I don't know if you're gonna have any bias towards this, but should we keep him or not?
I think we should, because right now, at the moment, we do not have any better replacement in the left back position. You know, going back to our points, I think he's a good player. He just tries to do too much, and we are yet to see the best of him. But I think for the time being, we should sign him. We should keep him. There's no reason. Like, who else are we gonna play in the left back position? You know, I mean, PC could play there, but is he gonna be as influential as Ali Adnan going forward? Probably not. You know, and you can't just go on another 15. That we have, like we said, we have 15 more games. We can't just have one left back. And you know, PC is not even like a natural left back. He plays on the wing, left back, left mid. It's just on the left hand side. But I think we should keep him but obviously it depends, you know, on the money, on the contract, and they need to do the numbers and all that.
Okay, so I have a quick stat for you here. I just brought up. So it looks like by the end of Ali Adnan's loan, which just finished, he received $547,000.
From Whitecaps?
Yes. So Udinese loanee Ali Adnan will receive $547,000 by the time his loan is officially up later this month. If this is true, $500,000 for the 6 months that he's played. Do you think he was worth $500,000 for what he's done for the club?
It's hard to answer the question because, I mean, nowadays, it's sport like soccer generates a lot of money, even in the MLS.
For sure.
Even in
For
MLS,
sure.
so
But
you can see a lot of like big salaries, and sometimes players have bad games, and you're like, when everything's going well, people say, "Oh, it's he's doing well. It doesn't matter. He's worth every penny." But once, sorry
to cut you off, but he's making actually probably one of the top. Montero's number one with $968,000, so about $1 million a year. But that's for the year. And he gets 6 months, $500,000
for 6 months,
which is more than players like. Hoang is making 655. But let's say Ardariz is 272, right? And he's been a good striker. You have players like Cornelius is 100,000. He's been great. Crepeau is making under 100,000.
That's because he's a local player,
right?
A Canadian player. Yeah.
So Donnell Henry 204,000.
Yeah.
So Atlanta's making a lot for the Whitecaps. It's no joke.
I guess it costs a lot of money to bring international players.
Yeah,
like but overseas and
right. Like I'm not saying that, but I'm asking you, like, was he worth that for what he's done? What you've seen in the last 6 months of his play since the LA Galaxy game?
I think it was a good run. And like I said, given the fact that we don't have any better replacement.
Okay.
I mean, you could, like I said, you could bring PC or Scott Sutter to play him on the left back, but this guy's a natural left back. He goes forward. He's good with the ball. He makes sometimes questionable decisions when he has the ball, and obviously we call him out on it. But at the end of the day, there isn't any better left back we have. He's pretty much the only one, and I'm not sure if it depends. Like, it really depends on what Whitecaps think, and if it makes sense to them to sign him and keep him.
So I disagree. I think no. I don't think we should keep him at all. So 16 games played, 1 goal, 2 assists, 26 shots. I believe that is. As a left back, yeah, in 16 games he scored 1 goal. That's great. I mean, usually left backs are not really, their job isn't to score, it's to attack.
Yeah.
Right. That's pretty fair. And the game's changed now, and left backs are pretty much wingers nowadays, anyways. But for 540,000 or whatever it was for 6 months, maybe we don't have anyone at the moment, right? And maybe at the time it looked like Whitecaps said that they needed a left back, and he was available, and they acquired him, and. I guess he's done, good for us. I can't lie about that. But to keep him going forward, I don't think we should. I think that money could definitely be allocated somewhere else. I think there's a lot of great, even young players that we could sign from the MLS.
Yeah. Or look at the academy.
I mean,
the youth.
If we could get someone maybe.
Okay, the thing is,
because it looks like when they looked to get a left back, they weren't looking for someone that was more like experienced and like play passing and like take it easy. They wanted like an engine, and Ali Adnan was that.
Yeah.
Right.
And he was available too.
He could score free kicks. He had a good shot, which he does. He has a great shot. He's fast. He's big. He's 6 foot, like physical. Over 6 foot. Yeah, he's physical. 6'1". You can't really beat him on a 1v1. It's hard.
And don't forget, MLS is a different league.
That's true.
And it takes time for players to adjust here. And you can see even, players like Gerrard and Beckham, when they first came here, it wasn't, a walk in the park for them. But it was difficult too. And it takes time to adjust. However, people can argue, especially the people who are listening or watching us right now, they can say, okay, you guys demand the Whitecaps to make playoffs and be top contenders and all that, but you don't want to spend the money. So in order for us to jump to the next level, we need to invest and spend this kind of money.
For sure.
Considering that guy has played in Europe, he played for Udinese, and he's
his resume is good.
It's good, and
It's
he's
good.
an international player. He had like I don't know how many caps for the Iraqi national team. Even
Yeah.
though he played sometimes in the wing position, more of a winger than a left back, but that's where it takes. It's a fact that we have to face, that teams have to spend a lot of money. And you have to spend the top dollar to get the top players. I'm not saying he's the best left back in the world or anything, top player.
No,
but,
of course. No one's saying that.
but it's just that's how it is, And I feel like if we don't keep him, and if he goes up, it makes sense to get someone better. Okay, you let Ali Adnan go.
Yeah.
Now go out and get a better left back. But the transfer window won't be open till like later. So we can't sign anyone now, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much he's gonna cost, or if he's gonna stay on loan again, or if Udinese are willing to let him go like on a permanent deal. So it will be very difficult.
So it says here that, I don't know how true this is, but Dos Santos would like to retain Ali Adnan, which would certainly increase his overall compensation, so he'd be getting paid more. Personally, at this point, we're conceding goals that we shouldn't, and maybe defense is important. But honestly, from what we have attack, it looks like we're not even creating enough. And a lot of times we're not scoring the goals that we should. And if that 600,000 could go to a great striker or a great winger or a great attacking player, Hwang is great. But like I said, he's not that leader. He's not killer-minded to go, he's not that player. He's an amazing playmaker, but he's not that get the ball in the net type of player. We had Kai Kamara. He was great striker. He would finish.
Yeah,
he did all the
saved us
dirty
a
stuff.
lot.
That was...
He did.
He was great. And honestly, we were paying him 1 million, but it looks like, honestly, looking back now, it looks like he was worth it actually to keep. And he's still scoring for his team.
Yeah.
All the time.
Scored against us too. Twice against us.
That kind of player, like you said, it takes a while to adjust. He's adjusted. He's molded to the league. He understands the league, and he could play in it. Yes, Aliana, maybe 6 months, he's played professional, he's he has to adjust to the players around him and this and that, but he's not a midfielder. When you have Jared coming in here, he's used to giving balls to players that are world-class players that know how to touch and know how to finish, right? When Pirlo came here and he gives a long perfect cross to the other side, and the guy hits it out of bounds, and Pirlo's like, oh my god, what did I do? You can't blame him at that point, right? It's the players that are not adjusting to their level. It's not the other way around, right? When you come from class and you're playing against players that are nowhere near kids, nowhere near the level that players like Gerrard or Pirlo are, what do you expect, right? And Ali Adnan's a left back, so his main job is to defend, right? So you're basically saying if he's not adjusting, you're basically telling me that it should technically be easier for him, right? Because the wingers in Syria are obviously better than the wingers in MLS.
Yeah.
So how come he's making the mistakes that he is? How come he's dribbling against Seattle? How come he's dribbling towards their own net and he gets the ball stolen and they almost score?
But again, in his 3-year contract with Udinese, he didn't play a lot. He started few games, then he dropped down, then he got injured, then he went out on loan at I think Atlanta United, or no, not United, Atlanta, just
Atlanta, in Syria, yeah.
So it's not like he was a key part of that team, because they obviously had better players.
Yeah.
So you could say that when he left Turkey to go to Italy, he was like the next big thing. People compared him in Iraq. They said this guy is the next the Iraqi Gareth Bale and all of that, right? Yeah. But obviously players it's part of it, and especially injuries. He got injured too, and he recovered and everything is good. But I don't know. I mean, but right now at this moment, I think we should keep him because, like I said, we don't have anyone better in the left back position. Even though I'm thinking PC can play, Rose can play there. I mean, but if we want to make the playoffs, if we want to change the whole club,
smarter.
you just need.
He just needs to play smarter.
He needs to play smarter.
But who knows? Yeah. Because if he doesn't sign an extension, then I guess what happens? Because his contract's over. So is he even going to play next game? I don't know how. I really don't know exactly. I don't know how exactly how it works. But
we need to read.
We'll leave that for now. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's
next thing is we're gonna talk about the game against LA next week.
Okay.
And after that, it's interesting. We're not coming back home to play Sporting Kansas. We are coming back to Canada, but we're going to go to Calgary and play against Calgary in the Canadian Championship.
That's right.
It's an interesting game. First time ever we play against a CPL team.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great opportunity for those guys to play against, you know, the first team Whitecaps, and especially they get to play an away leg, which technically at home for us at BC Place. So that's a great thing too.
Good experience for the guys.
I really like this. You know, it's we went from having 4 teams barely, you know, semifinals and jump into final right away, to have like 3-4 legs, and, you know, CPL teams playing against each other. Then the MLS teams are waiting. It kind of looks like the system that they use in the FA Cup. You know, after the 4th, 5th round, the Premier League teams, they start coming in, and it just gives a chance to the smaller teams to kind of like move forward and you know, have a run in the tournament. So we play Calgary, right? And they beat another BC team in Pacific on the first round,
which is
and that was I don't know.
Obviously we're kind of sad because that's where our home club, I guess, is.
It's a BC team too.
But hey, they're doing really bad this year, so bad. But that's what it is.
It's a bad first year, but I guess this whole year is like an experiment.
It's an experiment,
like we said. Yeah,
can't expect.
It's it's definitely good, and like I said, we won't be. I don't think I won't be surprised if we have like more than 15, 16 teams by next season. You know, or even like you said, 2 divisions. It just creates more competition, and like all these small communities, they get to have their own teams and cheer for them. It's good, but I mean. Toronto, who are they playing? Are they still waiting?
Still waiting. So Toronto,
they go straight to semifinals because I guess they're like the top team.
So how it works, obviously, for the teams that are in MLS, the 3 that we have, right? Canadian teams, of course. Toronto, Whitecaps, and Montreal. So obviously, Toronto being the top team out of all of them, they automatically make the semifinal, and then Whitecaps and Montreal start in the I guess quarterfinal, but they call it qualifying round 3. That's how I guess they structure it there. That's good. I like that. Like you said, it's a huge change from last year. You went from 4 teams barely, because one of them was USL or NASL team.
Yeah.
But
they decided to join the CPL, which was
not yet. No, Ottawa's still in. They're in USL.
Oh, Ottawa still. But
Ottawa,
I think the Edmonton team was playing.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, you're right. Edmonton
yeah.
decided to join. They were in NASL, and then they decided to join, which is good because we need more Canadian teams. Anyways,
yeah, definitely.
So we went from 4 teams, right, to 13 actually now. Well, that's 13 good. In total, right?
It's a big jump.
So big jump. Yeah. So this year is totally different because we started with all the CPL teams, which they have to earn, which is fair because, CPL, it's lower division, and they make it. So now we have Halifax versus Ottawa. Okay. Now, which is great is we're actually gonna have, for the first time, it looks like ever in the Canadian Championship, we're gonna have a team that's not so possibly a CPL team could make it for sure.
That will play in the semifinals.
To play against an MLS team in the semifinals, or Ottawa, which is a USL. But honestly, at this point, consider like a CPL level team.
It's like, right? This Canadian team that they're not in the MLS, exactly. So it will just...
And that was only because we had nothing at the time, so they had to join USL because it's the highest division.
That's really interesting.
That's not, that's not MLS. So one of those teams will make it, which is already kind of pretty historic to see, Ottawa or even Halifax in the semifinal playing against Toronto.
Oh, it looks like Halifax, they went on a good run too.
Yeah, and Halifax, won both their games and they're here where they are. And then we have Whitecaps versus Cavalry, which is Calgary. Yeah. Right? And then we have York in Ontario versus Montreal. So it's 2 legs. And honestly, I think Whitecaps will win. I can't imagine they'll lose 2 games to a side that it's their first year. If they do lose, that's going to be the biggest disappointment ever, honestly.
It'll be a big upset.
Like, I don't care. You can finish last in MLS, and unfortunately, no relegation, so you just come back the next year. Yeah. But if you lose to a CPL team, which is their first year, it's great for the CPL teams. It'll be kind of like amazing to see that. But it will be a huge disappointment in Whitecaps. And here's the thing: it's kind of like a lose-lose situation, or I guess win-lose situation for Whitecaps, because if they lose, it's disappointing. It's like, why? well, how would you lose
to a CPL
right
team.
like especially
with all due respect.
It's especially to Whitecaps fans, right? We're like, we're expecting so much from them this year because new coach, new players, international. Ali Adnan, $500,000, which is probably more than anyone making on CPL.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Like even more than like the whole team.
It's completely different.
So if they lose to that, it's like it's gonna be a big deal. But if they win, it's kind of like, oh, it's expected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. CPL is not there yet. Where if you beat them, it's like you can celebrate. It's like
it's interesting to see how the Whitecaps players will react, and whether they will start like their own. I mean, I won't be surprised if there's a lot of changes in the formation and a lot of
knowing
youth players
Mark
coming
Dos Santos,
up and all of that.
I mean, I hope he doesn't. But
yeah, but
because at this point we need some sort of trophy. And honestly, if there's anything we're gonna win, this is something good because you actually get to go into the FIFA Club World Cup.
Yeah,
right?
if you're
the Scotiabank Champions League, and then you move on. So it's definitely a good opportunity.
It'll be a good opportunity to get some silverware, yeah, for sure.
So,
and
but no, my just getting back to something, I had a point where it was for Calgary, a team of players that 1 year they're playing in the high level of their own city, like in amateur level, to the next year playing at BC Place. It's
in an official Canadian championship.
Game,
it's good.
It's good, and honestly, now we finally have pressure on these MLS teams, which is like we need to perform because there's teams now that could actually like beat us, and they could potentially, give an upset. It's not unseen, especially in soccer, right?
Yeah.
So, and also it's also a good opportunity because now, for players that are playing in CPL, which is kind of like you could look at it as like a transition, like it's a good place to go if you're young, you're just out of college, you don't get drafted maybe by MLS. It's like, okay, I'll play in CPL for like 1-2 years and press, and then I could always move up, right? This is a good opportunity for players that are young, under 21, to play really good, and Whitecaps coach will be like, you know what, this player plays really good against us, maybe he's someone to look at for next year.
For sure.
So not only is it a good opportunity to get scouted, but it's also a good opportunity for experience. So it's gonna be interesting.
It will be, yeah.
And I love this so far.
It's good, and I'll like it even more if they add more teams, hopefully, for next year.
And which they will, because
most
I believe 3 teams are for sure going to be in CPL next year, so a total of 10, and that's like guaranteed.
So we heard definitely
Quebec,
a team in Toronto or something.
Ontario, Hamilton, and Saskatchewan.
We don't know if there's anything about BC, maybe like Victoria Highlanders or something.
Some speculation of another team in BC. I don't think it would be in Victoria because there's already one there. I think it would be
like in the lower mainland.
I can't see Burnaby because we have TSS, and TSS, I don't know if they could even transition.
What league are they in again?
USL 2. USL 2. But maybe like they'll probably pick something like Langley because I know they were supposed to originally do it there. But
all it takes is you just have to get a good sponsor, see if you can.
It's money, right? Because like you said, it's an experiment league.
It is.
Right? I don't know how much the players are getting paid. They are for sure, but I can't imagine it's anything close to Whitecaps players, obviously. But we'll see, right? We'll see how well it does this year. It looks like it's done pretty well, and
so
with
far
3
it's pretty
teams
good.
next
It's
year,
definitely a good step.
Yeah, and I know they want to get to 18 to 20 teams eventually. So
perhaps
I think that's
2 divisions, maybe.
2 divisions would be great. I would love that because, like I said, puts pressure because we don't have that in MLS. If they finish last, it's like, oh, we come back next year. But if you're in CPL and you're last place team and you're gonna relegate to a second division,
say that,
that's crazy to think, and it gives like hope to like if I'm in Division 2, doesn't mean I'm not good enough to make it. We're gonna make our team good enough to beat the teams there, and now we're gonna be the team that they have to catch up.
You get all these relegation battles at the lower tiers of Canadian soccer. I mean, it's good. It's
How
a good
exciting
model.
would it be knowing like, your team is like, we're 3 teams are battling to make it to CPL Div 1.
Yeah.
And it's your city. You're like, yo, let's go. Like it gives more passion because there's something to fight for.
Yeah.
But if it's like, MLS, it's okay. We finished last CPL. It's okay. We have next year. Let's draft some players. You know what I mean? Like
next year is ours. Yeah.
Right? Like it's kind of sad.
Even for MLS.
There should be.
If we had more teams, I think it would be really more competitive and much better.
Yeah.
For just to do it as a league instead of this Western Eastern.
I honestly,
playoffs
my dream would be that CPL is the first division in Canada.
Yeah.
Whitecaps already too invested in MLS. Like that's different. They're never gonna change. CPL be first division. We get a CPL 2, and then maybe we even get one more.
3 divisions.
Like a third division that's like like the best like amateur league players, because every province has their own amateur
Probably do. Yeah,
team, right? And then what do? If you win, you go to nationals, which is playing against all the other amateur leagues in the country, which is good that we're doing. But then it kind of ends there, and it's like a lot of people just go there for fun. But if we had 3 divisions, can you imagine? You're a small team, right? Maybe you're not as big as Vancouver or Toronto, but you're a smaller team in a city, right? In a province, right? No one, like a Burnaby, for example, because Whitecaps podcast, people know Burnaby, or even like New West, who knows, right? And they have a team that's like a good team, and let's say they have a potential to make CPL 2. If it was if we were all one system, it would make complete more sense. Countries like Germany that could fit in Canada, or sorry, in BC,
they have more teams.
They have
more
5
leagues,
paid professional divisions. They all have stadiums. Like, I'm not saying we'll get there. Maybe it'll take us like 30 years to get there, but that would be amazing. And I think this, like, it would completely change everything, because now kids out of college or whatever that don't get drafted, they know that even if they play on a lower team, they can make it up and they can get drafted and they can be seen. But we don't have that, and that's I feel like that's a complete different.
It needs a whole
that needs
podcast
a whole different
for this.
episode, but that's just kind of
But definitely the CPL, it's the right, like, a step towards the right direction for sure, and it will add a lot. It's
for sure.
to it will add a lot to Canadian soccer. It's good.
So yeah, LA, we talked kind of pretty much everything. Yeah,
LA will be a tough game. I'm not sure. First, if we're gonna have Ali or no. I mean,
that's who knows what's gonna happen. It's just 1 day out, so
yeah, we still have to kind of stay tuned. Twitter, look online, everything. Just read. Carlosville. I mean,
we beat them.
True.
It was at home.
True. But overall, they were the better side.
Oh yeah,
but
no one's disagreeing that.
Yeah,
sure.
we still got the 3 points, and it was a great game. I don't know.
What are your predictions, LAFC? Honestly,
I want to be positive. I don't want to say we're gonna. I think we can nick a draw.
Draw?
Yeah, a 1 point away.
Yeah. Honestly.
And then come back, beat Calvary, hopefully. And then come back to BC place and play against Sporting Kansas.
I think if we played the way we did today, I think we'll lose. Like, Seattle doesn't have those killers that, like, Carlos Vela by himself is a force of nature. Like, he knows MLS. Like, he could beat anyone. He only needs one chance.
Some of the goals he scores,
right? Seattle were even playing like 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, like, on their team. So I think, like, LAFC, especially they're at the top, I don't think they want to lose again. And I'm sure, and I promise you, the coach after the Whitecaps loss was pretty upset. So he's gonna, especially now we're going to their home, I know he's gonna be like, we're the first place team.
Yeah.
This is like, we have to win. So if we play the same way, I think we're gonna lose. If we play the way we did with heart, and we get the players we do, we're gonna get Cripple and all these players back, and we play with heart, and we actually play. It doesn't play good formation that we can play, and don't change something for the first time again. Mark Dos Santos. We could win again. It's possible because we've done it. We can't say it's impossible because we've seen it happen. We've watched it. You were there.
Yeah.
It's possible.
It's nothing is impossible. That's the thing. That's the beauty about the game is you can be the underdog and you can still obviously cause a big upset. And I'm not saying we beat them.
I've been negative today, but because I'm upset.
Yeah,
and it's only because I'm saying it because I'm upset that we played that way. But
because we need results and we need to get a win. It'll be great to get a win away at LAFC.
Yeah.
That's
it's going to be difficult. How many more years are we going to stay out of the playoffs?
Yeah.
Like, what else do you want to do? We spent $600,000 on a left back. What like at this point it's like you know what I mean? It's we have the players, we have the talent. It's just a shame to see it like unfold the way it folds, right? We interviewed Russell Tarby, said, okay, this season's not decided in 5 games. That was fair. But are you gonna say the same thing 20 games later? There's 14 games left. Like, that excuse doesn't work anymore. You know what I mean? The table's close, but every team has a game in hand. But we'll see. July 6th. That is I'm
not sure what time the game is.
Saturday. We're looking at. What are we looking at here? 7:30 p.m.
7:30 p.m. Okay.
Right, we'll be watching for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully
we get a win. That get us closer.
But yeah.
And that should be it for today.
That should be it for today. Also, guys, just quick kind of quick notes and quick update about what's happening. Yes, we are planning to be more consistent. We're just if you've noticed, for people that are watching on YouTube, we have a different setup now. So we have to organize that.
Yeah.
We are now officially on
Apple.
On Apple
Podcasts.
Podcast app.
You can find all the episodes
iTunes is coming. So not iTunes yet.
Spotify.
But Spotify is also coming as well.
Yeah.
We submitted ours, so we're waiting for that.
Yeah.
But if you do have an iPhone and you open up the podcast apps and search up the Final Whistle or UpTheCaps.
Yeah, you can search either Final Whistle or UpTheCaps, and we're gonna include the link for the podcast.
Oh yeah.
If you don't want to download any app, you can always just hit the link and listen on your browser.
We are on. We do have a website and stuff that you can listen to it there. So if you do want to listen to it on the way to work or whatever, the link will be in the YouTube as well.
It'll just be more convenient if you have an app that's dedicated for podcasts, so it can be just easier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so right now, at this moment, all the episodes are Apple Podcasts. You can listen to those and give us your thoughts and feedback.
Yeah, please.
For sure.
Yeah.
Spotify, we're still waiting, like you said, and hopefully we'll get that done soon.
And don't worry, we do always up the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all that good stuff.
So we'll keep you guys updated.
We'll keep you guys updated. Remember, subscribe to the YouTube, tell your friends. We love the community. We always, reply to anyone. Follow us Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. Spotify coming soon. Is there anything else that you want to look quickly? We got another minute here or so.
That should be it. I mean, let's get a positive result against LAFC.
Happy Canada Day, and
that's
that was episode 4. And remember, always up the caps, and
see you guys in the next episode.
Take care. Goodbye.